Today, we're going to dive deep into my life after anxiety, my friends, as well as what you can expect in your future. Welcome to another important video on my channel. Please subscribe to this very important anxiety support channel. And if you want to learn more about any of my anxiety recovery programs, head over here. And friends, I now live my life anxiety free. And what that means, okay, let's get detailed here, okay? What that means is that I am no longer catastrophizing in terms of stepping outside what used to be my comfort zones. So my comfort zones back in the day used to be my bedroom, used to be a lot of worry and overthinking. Mentally, that was my comfort zones. Emotionally, my comfort zone was fear, stagnancy. Physiologically, my comfort zone was tension. And so verbally, my comfort zone was victimhood. So these were all my comfort zones, right? When we talk about comfort zones on this very important channel, we're not only talking about places, we're talking about daily habits, internal and external habits. And so now my life is pretty streamlined, meaning I can do pretty much anything and not feel fearful, either true fear or irrational fear. I no longer feel fearful when I'm doing those things. It's a great feeling because I was very, very restricted just a few years back, restricted in terms of what my body would allow me to do. The moment I wanted to go and be creative or to meet an old friend or talk to a stranger, anxiety didn't allow me to do those things. And I found out that anxiety didn't allow me to do those things through heightened levels of sensitivity, heightened levels of anxiety symptoms that would travel from one body part to the next. Anxiety wouldn't allow me those things through intrusive ideas. And often I thought that because I had this intrusive idea that I had to follow that idea. That was actually a thought. I never realized that I had conscious thoughts that I made up and created, and I also had intrusive thoughts or intrusive ideas, which were more automatic. And these intrusive ideas were based around how I lived my life on a daily basis. So my life after anxiety now is a lot slower, okay? I know I'm speaking a little bit fast during my videos, but that's so that I can get you informed as quickly as I can, right? It's very important that you watch my videos until the end of each video to get the most out of each video, of course. And sometimes I'm going to take my time, but overall, life after anxiety, I'm a lot slower in terms of my movement throughout the day, in terms of how quickly I shower, even things like how quickly you go to the bathroom, how quickly you speak with people, how quickly you move throughout the day, how quickly you drink your drink or eat your food. With anxiety, I always used to feel like I was in a rush. And the reason I felt like I was in a rush was that my lower self or inner child wanted me to stay in a state of tippy-toeing around life, say in a state of fight or flight. And that's really what anxiety was. And friends, this part is really important here. My life after anxiety is so different in that when I was suffering from anxiety, one of the biggest defense mechanisms to not going out and doing too much and staying within my comfort zones were tiredness and exhaustion. And I used to think that tiredness and exhaustion was due to the amount of things that I did throughout the day, when in truth, the exhaustion and the fatigue came because I was always looking to mentally try to figure out my anxiety. And not only that, mentally try to figure out my anxiety, but that tiredness and exhaustion was there also to get me not to do too much throughout the day, because if I did too much, there was a good chance that I would make a mistake in terms of the way the lower self or the subconscious mind would deem it. And so it always tried to keep me from not doing much and not speaking up and not allowing me to feel my emotions and not stepping outside of this anxiety related comfort zone. And so much of my healing came from realizing that tiredness equaled fear. Tiredness wasn't because of how much I did physically, tiredness was based around the fear. And the more I overcame the fear and stepped out of my comfort zones and into experiences, when I started to do sports again, when I started to move my body and no longer have the fear of anything going wrong with my heart, or speaking up to people in the fear of saying something wrong or not direct or not pleasing people or getting their acceptance, these sorts of things throughout the day. My life today, there is none of that, because when I speak to people, I don't speak to people based around what I think they're going to say back to me. I'm not there looking to please anybody. I'm there because I have something to say, and often it's something important, and often, most likely, it will help other people as well. So it's very important that you find your voice. So much of anxiety healing is finding your voice once again. Life after anxiety is kind of like this. During anxiety, I always thought that I was a worryful person. That was a part of my identity. I was an overthinker. I worried about everything. I tried to control everything. And I didn't like not knowing things, the unknown, right? But in truth, I had so much playfulness. Playfulness, for example, is a very important component to healing. If you don't have a sense of playfulness throughout the day, it's very difficult to actually evolve into the greatest version of you and leave anxiety behind. So playfulness wasn't something I had to relearn. Playfulness was inside of me. It was always inside of me, waiting for permission to show up throughout my day. Smiling wasn't something I had to relearn. Smiling, for example, as well, had all these layers between me and the smile. There was so much fear. If I smiled, I would look weird or I would use up too much energy. It's just easier to frown throughout the day, but if I frown too much, what are other people going to think about me? If I smile, do I look like some kind of psycho who's sitting in the corner smiling at people? I mean, the amount of overthinking that I used to do throughout the day would just perpetuate my anxiety. And anxiety looks for more like anxiety labels. So if it wasn't generalized anxiety, it was going to be health anxiety. If it wasn't health anxiety, it was going to be panic disorder. If it wasn't panic disorder, it would be agoraphobia. So these sorts of things kind of branch and connect to each other, kind of like a spider web, until I got to the point now, life after anxiety, where I realized, man, there's so much to me. There's so much to me that's been covered up for so long. I've been playing life so safely for so long. You've been playing life so safely for so long. And why? To not step on anybody's shoes, to not say the wrong thing, to not step outside of the identity that the world knows you as. So often as we go about our days, we believe we're only allowed to be one type of person. And the truth is, there's so many different people within you, characteristic traits that are ready to show up and be a part of each situation that you encounter throughout the day. My life after anxiety now is light. It's not heavy. During anxiety, it was very heavy. I was carrying around a lot of emotional baggage, and the majority of my decision making was based on my mental resources, not from my heart. These days, I make a decision through my heart and I follow through. I don't think about the consequences too much, whereas during my anxiety days, I would think about, oh God, if I do this, then it's going to lead to that. Oh, I just met that person. What do they think of me? There was just so much analyzing, so much reflecting that it would just tire me out. And often in the evening is when my anxiety started to lower because I had no willpower left to fight the elements of anxiety within me, right? So my life after anxiety, my friends, just so you know, is a lot lighter. I am now defaulting to allow those traits within me that have been covered up for so many years to come out and be a part of each and every day. Now I speak up, I have a voice. I allow myself to speak up now. Now I grow beards, for example, and even though people say, well, Dennis, it doesn't look good on you or whatever, I'm giving my face a bit of a break, right? These sorts of things. So the decisions that I'm making are based around what's most important for me first. And the only way that I can help other people, I know this now, is by helping myself fully. And the relationship now, life after anxiety, the relationship that I have with my own lower self or inner child is so close. It's so close. And anytime my own inner child has some kind of an irrational fear that shows up, it's basically so fleeting. It comes and it goes. There's no overthinking around it. There's no believing in it. It's basically like taking on your day sometimes with a child who's screaming through your mind and body and your emotions, and all you have to do is guide that part of you. During my anxiety days, when I experienced those anxiety symptoms or any elements of anxiety or health anxiety, I thought that was law. I thought that was the truth. In reality, those were all questions. Your symptoms are questions that you need to answer. The intrusive ideas that you get are questions that you need to answer. So as you're going about the day, the most important relationship is between your conscious mind and your unconscious mind and your unconscious body. As long as you continue to build this relationship, you're going to start downloading information from a higher place, downloading information based around trust, based around safety. And life after anxiety for me, I perceive all life experiences that I have as being safe. Whereas back in the day, even if I didn't experience a situation, I know that I would perceive it as being threatening and dangerous. Therefore, I never got myself into those situations. I never encountered things that were outside of my comfort zones because my lower self, my inner child, wouldn't allow me. My friends, if I can do this, I know that you can do this, but I want you to remember that it's important that you simplify. Simplify because, with anxiety, we can make things very, very complicated. What book do I read? What program do I use? Yada, 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 on and on and on. Where do I get my help? If you really need a healer, become a healer yourself. That's a more than anxiety moment right there. Stop looking for help from the outside. You're getting it from this channel already. You have my love and you have my support. I've been in your shoes, your mind, your body, your emotions, and I can tell you that it's a challenge. But this challenge, you got to see it as sort of like climbing a ladder. And you're stuck on the same step because you haven't learned what you need to learn and apply what you need to apply consistently enough to get to the next step. This is how you have to see this journey, my friends. More often than not, to get to the next step, there's something that you need to do that you're not doing. You need to either speak up to someone. You need to feel into your feelings. You need to do more surrender sessions on a daily basis to no longer fear your anxiety symptoms. There's something that you need to do to get yourself to the next step on that ladder. But remember, if I can do it, if so many peaceful warriors can do it through going through my programs, if they can do it, then you can do it. So take inspiration from this video, my friends. Don't take motivation because that doesn't last. That's kind of like taking a shower when you're dirty. You're just going to get dirty again, right? How many showers can you take throughout the day? But get inspired. Allow my voice to be in your mind as you go about the day. And remember that you always have a choice in terms of how to respond to the things that are perpetuating your anxiety. You have a choice. So make the best choice, the choice where your future self goes, I'm proud of you, right? Make that choice even in the face of uncertainty, the unknown, and great fear and vulnerability. Why? Because vulnerability is your best friend right now. Remember that. I love you from the bottom of my heart. I want you to do me a favor if you can. If you know someone or a group in need, please share this video and this channel with them. It would really help me to build the support on this channel and allow me to help more people out there, my friends. And again, if you have any questions on the #1 rated anxiety recovery programs available online today, head over to theanxietyguy.com. And remember that you are more than anxiety. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.